Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about the features of sine and cosine, and more specifically here we're going to be talking about the parent functions. So let's write this out. Okay, so let's start with the first one. The amplitude is how far the wave travels up and down from its midline. So basically from the middle of the wave, how far is it going up and how far is it going down? So let's go look at our waves up here. All right, here is the middle of the wave, long ways, this direction. So we can see that sine is going up one, and it's also going down one, okay? So since it's going up one, down one, that means that it has an amplitude of 1. And the same thing is going to be true for cosine, okay? So they're both going to have an amplitude of 1. Okay, the period is how long it takes to complete one full wave. So let's go see what the period of sine and cosine are. And I'm just going to do the period of cosine here. So on the y-axis is starting up at its high point, and I just want to move to the right and see whenever I get back to that same point. So if I'm moving to the right, I get back to the same point right over here, and that took a distance of 2 pi. Okay, so this is my period of 2 pi. And let's make a note that up here, this was the amplitude. Okay, the same thing is going to be true for sine. If I start right here on the y-axis and I move to the right, I want to see whenever I get back to the same upward slant. So here I am at the upward slant. That's downwards, that's not it, but here is the upward, which is 360 or 2 pi. So you can look in either degrees or radians. So one full wave is going to happen in 360 degrees or 2 pi if you're in radians. All right, now the midline is the line that cuts the graph in half long ways. So that's always going to be a y value because it's going through a tick mark on the y-axis. So let's go look and see what the midlines of the regular sine and cosine function are. And these are going to be happening just where it cuts the graph in half long ways. So that's going to be here on my cosine graph, and it's going to be in the same place on my sine graph. So this is going to be at y equals 0, which is also the x-axis. And this is our midline. And maybe let's just draw a little point down there. Okay, so our midline is going to be at y equals 0 for both sine and cosine. All right, for the domain and range, we saw that sine and cosine both go on forever in the x direction, so left and right. So that means that the domain is negative infinity to positive infinity. And then the range, we just want to see where are they existing on the y-axis. And whenever you look at these graphs, they are not ever going below -1, and they're also not ever going above +1, but they are equaling those values you can see here. All right, so that means the range is going to be from -1 to +1 for both of those graphs. So -1 and equaling -1 to +1. All right, so what is the difference between sine and cosine? Cosine starts at 0, 1 at its maximum or minimum value. Okay, and sine is going to start at 0, 0, okay, at the origin. Okay, it starts at the origin, and it's also starting in the middle of the wave. So sine is going to look like this on the x-axis. It's going to be a slant like that, or it's going to be a slant like this. Okay, that's sine. Okay, and then for cosine, it's either going to be at its maximum point or its minimum point. This is cosine. All right, so let's talk about one more thing, which is phase shift, and that is moving right or left. So since sine and cosine are the same graphs, but they're just shifted a little bit, you can actually move sine left pi/2, and you'll get cosine of x. So if you took this value right here, and you moved it over to +1, so left pi/2, then you would get the cosine function. So let's go look at that. If I have my cosine function, all right, here's my cosine function, and let's go ahead and graph the sine function. If I move the sine function left pi/2, so see how this is at pi/2, if I move that back pi/2, then I'm going to get the cosine function. So let's do left, which is positive pi/2. And now you can see that the sine and cosine function are the same whenever you shift it to the left. All right, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'd be very happy to help you out. Goodbye.